The strategies for marketing a service-based business differ greatly from those used to market a product-based business. For instance, service-based businesses generally require far fewer leads than a product-based business does in order to hit their sales targets. In this video, we're covering those specialized strategies and tactics that you can use to grow your service-based business. Hey Empire Builders, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Haley Dale and I am a content and sales funnel strategist helping you create more purposeful, productive, and yes, profitable content too. So if that sounds like something you're looking for, make sure to hit the button down below this video to subscribe for value-packed videos just like this one every single Monday. Recently, I published a blog post all about the epic guide to content marketing for product-based businesses. I have to be honest, my product-based business people in my community always tell me they feel a little left out by online businesses who kind of ignore them altogether. So then when I put that out, I had the opposite reaction saying, where is our service-based one? So here it is. I am a big believer that the way to build your business, attract more valuable leads, convert those leads into clients is by using content marketing, especially if you don't have a huge team or unlimited dollars to spend on advertising. And even if you do have those things, your content is the thing that keeps people coming back even after you've attracted them to your community or to your email list. I want to just let you know that I have a resource to go along with this. If you want to play along with me and get the epic content strategy guide for service-based businesses, make sure to grab it down below. It's in the video description. We are going to touch on a few different areas that really make the challenges for a service-based business owner using content unique. So the first area that we're going to touch on are your content marketing goals. So just like before I mentioned, where you usually in general as a service-based business need far fewer leads to hit your sales target than a product-based business, there are some other goals that differentiate your situation from a product-based business. So here are the main goals that I would consider as a service-based business owner in order to reach my content goals and succeed at content marketing. So the first thing is I'm using content to establish myself as an expert who understands exactly what my clients are going through, how they're feeling, and how I can get them from point A to point B. So that is goal number one. Your content needs to fulfill that role. It needs to establish you as an expert, win credibility, and prove to people that you have the know-how and the process to help them accomplish their goals, thus working with you in your service offering. The second thing that your content marketing needs to do is build your email list. So you don't need as many people as a product-based business in most cases, but we do need you to be bringing in prospects and using your email list to stay in touch with those prospects and invite them to work with you in a paid capacity. And finally, my third goal for content marketing is to make sure as a service-based business owner that I have a sales funnel, a sales system, an automated sales system in most cases that aligns with my sales process for my service so that I can increase the number of sales conversations I'm having and thus the number of clients that I'm booking. So that is one of my very first objectives with content, is making sure that I create, design an intentional sales system that goes along with that buying process, which means that any of the marketing or any of the effort that I put into social media, getting visible, booking guesting spots has a purpose because I have that automated sales system hooked up in the back end to bring people from interested prospect to booking a sales call to talking with me on the phone to becoming a client. The next thing that people ask me about is, what do I have to have in place? How do I get more strategic with my content? And I usually find that there are 5 great places to start if your intention is to become more strategic with content. So here is your strategic toolkit before you dive into using content marketing. So the first thing that you're going to want to have an idea of is exactly who that ideal client avatar is. And I know we've done avatars to death at this point, but you still need to have an idea of who you're talking to, what words they're using to describe their problems, what questions they're asking, where they're hanging out, so that you can cut a lot of that trial and error out because you have a direct line of communication with them. You know how to speak to them in a way that is going to resonate. So having a good, clear understanding of who your ideal client is imperative for the rest of your content to succeed. The second part is like a B part of this. It's the other side of the coin. But I always like to take my ideal client avatar one step further by using it to map out my content journey for my potential client. So when they're at the very beginning of their discovery phase with sales systems and with content, what questions are they asking versus when they're a little bit further along and a little bit further along and a little bit further along? This process of mapping out my content journey gives me endless ideas for content and blog posts and videos that I can do and social media posts that are going to help bring people to the next stage in that customer to client, from that reader to client journey. The third thing you're going to want to have in place is your unique selling proposition. So we want to know exactly why someone should work with you instead of somebody else offering a similar service. So you want to really be able to answer that question of like, why should I work with you? What makes you different? Get a really concise answer to that question, and you're going to be able to highlight those differences through your marketing and through your content. One of my favorite tools to use in creating a content strategy is pulling out an oldie but a goodie, a SWOT analysis. So this means we are designing a quadrant system here, and we want to look at your strengths and weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So you want to think in terms of your business, your service packages, your content, and just get an idea of what that playing field looks like for you and what strategic opportunities and potentially hurdles you need to solve right now with your content, with your services. It can be a really smart idea to help you get more strategic in building your business, and is really going to help you set you apart from other people offering similar things. And the next thing, I threw this in as a bonus because I find that the people who understand this next principle are the ones who succeed with their content. And that is my magic 1-to-1 content ratio. So for every piece of content that you put out, it's as simple as this. I want you to spend as much time promoting that piece of content. It's not always about having more content and creating the next piece of content and next and next and next and this endless content hamster wheel, but it is about making sure that you're getting as much leverage and as much mileage as possible out of the pieces of content that you are creating. So making sure if I spend 2 hours creating a new blog post, I sure as heck better be spending 2 hours creating promo materials for it, talking about it, promoting it, getting the word out, and getting more eyeballs on it. So if you can build that into your process now, that is going to go a long way in making sure that your content strategy is a success. Because especially when we're starting with smaller lists, it is our job to go out and find people, bring them back to our content, put out a piece of content, bring people back to it. So that is that whole purpose of that magic content ratio. And the sooner you can embrace that principle, the better. The next step in creating your content strategy is to design your content brand intentionally. And I'm not just talking about your pretty logo, your gorgeous colors, and your patterns that just make things pop online. I am talking about your voice. So what is the word or what is the tone or vibe that goes along with those graphics, with those visuals, right? So we want to think about how your content fits into your visual brand, right? If your visual brand is super poppy and preppy, your voice and tone of your content better match it. So there is cohesion and alignment between the two things, and we're not creating a disjointed experience for your potential clients who are reading and perusing your content. There's not that dissonance. So hopefully you already have that ideal client avatar, because you're going to want to use that as a way of finding your voice and style. And that is going to really play into the types of words you're using, how you're expressing yourself. And so I like to think about a couple of different things, and I like to find this sweet little spot between my personality and the personality of my clients and the people that I want to be working with. So some of the questions you can ask yourself about is more about the relationship that you want to have with your potential clients and with prospects. So that's the first question. What type of relationship do you want with them? Do you want to be that trusted expert? Do you want to be their been there, done that BFF? Do you want to just think about what relationship you want to have with them? That is like step number one, set that intention. The next thing is like, what type of relationships do your clients want from the service providers that they're working with? Who do they want to hire? Who do they want to work with? And then how is your relationship with your client defined? So those are some great journaling questions to start here with defining that voice that you're going to be having through your content. And then you want to make sure that you're speaking their language. So a lot of times that we can be cursed by the curse of knowledge, which, I mean, how could knowledge be a bad thing? But at times it definitely is. And when it comes into play, when it becomes a curse, is when we are using fancy jargon and fancy lingo to describe things that we know and come second nature to us, but our audience, our clients that we want to be working with are like, what the heck Greek is she speaking? So we want to make sure we're using their words, or we're using words that they're using every day, and they're going to really understand immediately what that means. So how would your clients describe their problems? How would they describe the solution that they're looking for? How would your clients describe the benefits of your service, the benefits that they personally receive, benefits over your competitors, and any additional perks? And then from there, I want you to find a description of your service. So this goes back to that unique value proposition. Now we're looking for what makes you unique. And then just some bonus points here. Send surveys to your email list on a regular basis so you can gauge what they're looking for, what questions they're having, and you can use that to come up with endless ideas for your editorial calendar. So forums and client interviews, testimonials, using their words as much as possible for your copy will save you a lot of time and help you relate much quicker than coming up with some brilliant jargon that, isn't going to relate to them at all. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. And the next thing that people ask me about is what type of content should I be putting out as a service-based business owner? And I think there are really 4 categories of types of content that you can think about is as like guidance for the types of posts you should be putting out. Not necessarily the content categories and the themes that you're talking about or the pillars, depending on what lingo you use to describe those, but the types, right? So the first type is how-tos and tutorials. So this is all about establishing yourself as an expert, showing that you have the know-how to help them get the results that they're looking for. And you don't need to give away the entire process from start to finish, but can you give little snippets that are going to help them out? The second thing are interviews and case studies. So I like to say this, for every single client project that you launch, how can you turn it into a piece of content? How can you turn it into a launch on your social media, on your blog, on your website? So that way you're celebrating your clients, but you're also highlighting the results you've gotten them and highlighting your process as well. So interviews and case studies are a great type of content to put out as a service-based business owner. The third thing is interpreting trends. So where can you prove to your audience, prove to your clients that you're on the cutting edge of what is happening, what is impacting them, what they maybe don't have time to stay on top of, but you as the expert in your field have them covered so they can rest assured. And then the fourth type is like a behind the scenes, showing that you're living your talk type of post. So if you are a coach all about, finding the love of your life, where can you talk about your own relationship, your own dating experience, whatever that is that shows that you are also a client of yourself and your expertise, or at one time you won. Let's talk newsletter strategy, because I talked about the importance of setting up an automated sales system. So getting those leads on your list in the first place. So what are some different types of opt-in gifts and lead magnets that you can use to do so? So a few that I find really popular with service-based business owners, from building well over 100 sales funnels for people at this point, would be a digital kit. Can be a really great way to start. So showing a roundup of different tools and different things that they can use. An email course is another good one, because you sustain that relationship and build that relationship over a longer period of time. A webinar or a workshop, especially a micro webinar, if you happen to be working with higher income business owners who don't have a whole lot of time for learning something new. So keep it short and super valuable and super value packed. Another thing would be a challenge, can be a great way to fill your client roster, or a quiz that helps them make a decision. So I always like to think, especially as a service-based business owner, what can I provide or what type of freebie can I use that's also going to help people become a better client for me too? So a quiz can be a great way to give them some clarity in your service area so that they're more primed to work with you. So now that you have that handled, I want to go over your 3 biggest content marketing power moves to wrap this up. So power move number 1 is guesting. So where can you get in front of other people's audience as the brilliant expert service provider that you are? So whether that is pitching podcasts, whether that is going and teaching in other people's communities, you don't need very many people. You don't need to wow very many people in order to get those sales calls booked and get yourself booked out with your services. The second thing is your welcome email sequence. So going back to that automated sales system, I want you to focus on putting together that automated, at least that welcome sequence that is going to have a freebie that gets them on there, an opt-in freebie, as well as guiding them through that relationship, helping them get to know you, providing additional value, and proving that you have that know-how to really help them and position you as an expert. And then finally, your third power move, all of this, none of this should be a surprise, is to really develop your own voice and personality when it comes to your content. So one of the biggest reasons I know people sit down and they struggle to write a piece of content or film a piece of content is not only that they don't know what to say, but they're not sure how to say it. They're filtering themselves. So having a really clear idea of what that brand voice is, what that personality is, can help remove some of those barriers when it comes to expressing yourself and creating content. So let me know in the comments. What is your next power move as a service-based business owner when it comes to content? And definitely make sure to download my strategic content toolkit for service-based business owners if you want all of the templates. And if you like this video and want more like it, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below this video, and I drop a new video every single Monday. Thanks for watching.